Hello gang, and welcome to this module from Pluralsight. My name is Andrew Mallet and I'm here to guide you through this, the final module of our course. We're going to be looking at configuration management tools in CentOS 7. And here we're just looking at maintaining systems via configuration management tools, and in particular we're going to be looking at Puppet. So as we run through within the demonstrations, we're going to see that we're going to install the Puppet client. We'll look at checking the host name and domain on the system just to make sure then that we can configure Puppet policies or manifests for the correct machine. We'll be looking at creating and managing those Puppet manifests and then running the Puppet client to apply the manifests. We'll be running as a standalone system, but ideally this would all be running on a Puppet server, and then the Puppet clients could all grab their configuration from this central management server. So to begin with, let's look at installing Puppet. Now the first thing we're going to do is just make sure that we've got access to the full repository. So I'm just going to copy from my root user's home directory all of the repo files across. So we're going to copy them across to /etc/yum and then our .repos.d directory. If you recall, when we were looking at managing yum, just to set up our own repository and prove that that was working, we went through and moved our repository files out of the directory. So with those now copied back, we're going to go through and do a yum install on Puppet. Puppet is a central configuration management tool along with other tools such as Chef. We'll of course just be working on the one system, but we can see how much it is going to put on. So we're putting on quite a few additional packages here. So there's one package, plus we're then adding on 17 dependent packages. When we go through and look at what's being installed, we can see then the different repositories where the information is coming from. Puppet itself is coming from the EPEL repository, so if you haven't already enabled this, just make sure you've got the EPEL repository. We see setting up the EPEL repository in the LFCS Linux Essentials course. We'll go through and accept. You might see by the amount of Ruby that's being installed that Puppet is based around Ruby. Now that we have this, let's go through and clear this out. And if we go through and run Puppet and -- version, we can see then that it's version 3.6.2 of Puppet that we now have installed. So there you go, we've got Puppet up and running. In the next clip, we're going to look at how we can go through and start checking the host name and using tools like Factor so we can read client properties back.